Hello. Hi, everybody. Hi, hi, hi. I got about 9 minutes, so I'm setting up. Give me a minute. Enjoy the tunes. If you don't like it, don't like it. Don't really care. Trader. Hello, everybody. Hi, hi, hi. Happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you, Kate. It's been a long, long time. Long time. How are you? How are you? I'm doing it on Facebook Live, by the way. I've unfortunately run into a technical error. Uh, well, that's just an excuse, and we all have them. And I'll get into those kinds of conversations later on as this goes on. I did run into some technical difficulties, so I do have to do it on Facebook Live. I hope you guys have the patience to enjoy it and stay logged in on Facebook, social media. We'll get into all that beautiful, beautiful stuff. And yes, I'm wearing a Joker shirt for a reason. For a reason. We'll get into all that beautiful stuff later. Until now, settle in, enjoy, turn the stream on, turn it off, mute it. I don't care. Enjoy. I'm going to go back to what I was doing. I got about 9 minutes. Hello, hello. I got a few minutes, so I'm just sitting up, but here's a pretty face. Try to get the lighting situation settled. I don't live in the best of conditions, guys. I gotta work with what I got. No, they don't call me Ibby anymore. I am called Jin, and those explanations will come and go. But they call me Jin, and they call me Abe. Abe for short, because it's easier. Seems like the English people have a hard time with the Ibrahim format. So yeah, don't even use Bobby anymore. The jokes still come, obviously. I'm Middle Eastern of background. So, thank you. Oh yeah, more than enough light. Thank you very much. Ibby for life. I actually almost made an account name for Ibby Baby, and that goes way back for AOL days, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Yes, I'm still a smoker. Cigarettes. Not good for you, by the way. I don't. Happy birthday. Thank you very much. Thanks, Amanda. How are you? Hi, Dad. Hi, Mom. Hi, family, and everybody else coming in slowly. I have music going on at the moment. I got a few minutes before I officially go live. Like the lamp thing. And yeah, I put a little decoration pieces behind me. It's not the best of setups. So you guys are going to have to give me a break. Booby! It's been a long time for everybody, and I appreciate everybody for coming in. Thanks everybody for joining, and I hope you appreciate what's to come at 8 o'clock. I still have a few minutes, guys. Enjoy the tunes. Copyright this, that. I don't care. It's day one. It's first stream. Don't really care. Just a heads up for anybody who's just joined in now. I did have some technical difficulties going on the YouTube. No, I will not. Going on the YouTube format of streaming. I do have a webcam and a microphone. Listen, I'm a man of my word. I'm not a liar. I'm not a liar. I'm not a liar. At least I claim not to be, so take me for that. You mean these things? No. What's up, Aaron? Congratulations to you and Teresa over in Texas. During the course of the lamps thing that's going on, I will remove a lot of names because what this is going to be it's the only passion I have left, to be honest with you, but we'll get into that part when we start for real. Right now, you could look at my pretty face and enjoy this horrible music for some years. And again, I don't care. Yeah, I'm let loose. I'm let loose. Give me a few minutes here, guys. I'm still sitting up here, but I will try to should I say converse with you guys as I can. Get a few more people. I don't really need too many people to follow and join. Really, the idea is to at least put out a template, a message, and then that's it. If it only comes down to one, it only comes down to one. 1,000 years from now, I'm sure I've gotten old looking. You know, I'm gonna tell you something. A serious thing. When I first moved down here, I went to go purchase my first pack of cigarettes, and the lady at the register actually said, she's the owner, she said, "Oh, you're a smoker, I'm surprised." And I said, "Why is that?" She goes, "You actually have a healthy face for a smoker." It wasn't until an extended stay down here that I understood why. Yeah, perspective, perception, and potential. We all have it, we all have it. And I'm going to get into that discussion as we go on. With probably little interruptions. I probably won't be reading much of you guys. Because I have things to say first, and I want to generalize the idea, and then get into specifics later, especially with the Q&A portion of this. And I do apologize for the Facebook Live format at the moment. YouTube is up and running, the page is good, but I did not have the appropriate means to get it running. My laptop's an old junker that I bought actually on a Black Friday sale with one of my exes. But anyway, was it about 8 years old now, this computer? And I'm using my phone now, which is probably the same age. Probably the same age. Alright, 3 minutes. I'm gonna cool off the music before it gets a little whatever for people. Thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate you finding the time in your day to even give a rat's behind. A rat's behind. A rat's behind. Wordplay, wordplay, wordplay. How powerful it can be. How strong it truly is. All the little things in life, we complain about them, we complain about them. Oh, the small things, it's always the small things. But it's the small thing for you. Is that the good morning, good night from your partners? Is it the kiss every time they come home? Or the flowers every year for a holiday? Thank you. I feel that I am worth it in my own. I appreciate that. Didn't you spill my... Yeah, I did spill Monster on this laptop. I even have a F7 key missing. I pulled that out playing a video game. Yeah. What I'm doing now is getting to the group, the Laughing Lamp, the group itself, so I can explain what it is about, the Eye of Two especially, those 2 pictures that I posted out there. I'm going to explain why didn't I send you flowers. I don't remember you being deserving of flowers from me. I think you deserve something different, perspective-wise. Thank you. Well, we get into the laughs, the chuckles, the chipmunk laugh. Still got it. It's all fake stuff. It's all fake stuff, and I'm going to word it that way on purpose. On purpose. 1 minute. 1 minute. Oh, I have, by the way, because I speak with the community around here, I'm going to pre-advance this piece of knowledge. I've already been threatened for my silence. I've already been told to watch what I say and shut the fuck up. I'm not going to. That's not why I'm here. We've all been there and done things, seen things and said nothing. Well, maybe I can change our perspective of the way we all unify as we look at life together. Or we just don't care about those small things. Just another small thing where this crazy guy who thinks way too much is apparently told that he thinks too much. But apparently those same thoughts, according to the people willing to listen, you got a good eye and it's gonna get you killed. You gotta watch what you say. We'll get into detail on what that means to me in my perspective. What is the bottle behind you? Ha ha! Yes! For my Arabian family! You don't have to be an alcohol drinker, and I'm sorry to represent something, but it is my cultural background. I don't drink, by the way. This bottle is empty because of celebratory drinking, not because of daily. I don't drink. I don't like alcohol. I hate it. However, for the sake of today and the launch of my lamp, which we'll discuss again, I'm going to celebrate with a toast. So feel free to join in, join not. Smoke what you got. Don't care what you do. I kind of do, and we'll get into that later, actually. It's pretty strong. It's a strong tasting. It's a spirit. Mix it with water, turns it into a cloudy milk. Skull shot. Skull shot. No, let's fill that. Let's not go weak on the first day, shall we? It's called Arak. Arak. A-R-A-K. Ara. I'll put that down for the moment. Down for the moment. It is 8 o'clock. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 8 o'clock. Welcome to the Laughing Lamp. I am Jinn of the Lamp, your inner fear. And why do I call myself those things? Well, it'll all speak for itself, hopefully, as I continue to speak and ramble. The Laughing Lamp, I'm going to take this down so I can bring it closer for you guys. Welcome to my house. The lamp itself is my house. The lamp is my house. It's a home that we all have, whether our parents are there and we live there, or our partners are there and we live with them. Whatever. The lamp is my home. Ooh, it's a bad shot. I don't like it. Well, it's a laughing lamp and it's probably read backwards. And of course, the color scheme and everything will be explained to the best of my ability, and hopefully you understand it to some degree. It doesn't matter how many people I have here now. I'm going to repost this later on for future viewing anyway, because I need the message to grow, and this is pretty much what I'm down to. I work overnight, so I have just a little bit of time to do what I got to do. Well, I could ask her for the recipe, but we are segregated at the moment. She's up north again. I'm down south. We'll explain all that stuff, because the idea of the Laughing Lamp is to explain my perspective and share with you my story of life as I saw it. Along with many other things, because you bump into people that share knowledge with you, and you bump into with people that try to have a conversation with you, and most people know me for that silent guy, hence one of the posts, which we'll get into. I'm going to go through all that. Those were my notes. I'm cheating. Those are my cheat sheets. The Laughing Lamp's color scheme, does it recognize? Anybody recognize where these things, colors, have seen them before? Superheroes, villains, maybe? The shirt? Yeah. It's a Joker color scheme. Anybody understand the perspective of the colors he uses? Orange, green, purple. It's a mix of all our primary colors. So in a sense, Joker was actually unifying. Interesting perspective, isn't it? He's a villain, he's evil motherfucker, and he does a lot of weird shit to a lot of weird people. And yet, he's the only one I noticed that uses unity. Huh. Well, anyway, we'll get into this. The ideology behind this is, look at it as a phrase. Yes, it's a sideways 8. It's an infinity symbol, done in a format and font in which I can throw colors into it. And now it's a symbol for me. Hi, new welcomers. Welcome and thank you for joining to the Laughing Lamp. Once again, the Laughing Lamp is my home. Why is it a laughing lamp? It laughs because how do you find a genie in the lamp if he's hidden in a tomb or something? My lamp specifically had a Middle Eastern background. That's where all this comes from, and I will get into more detail about that as we go on. You find my lamp by listening for it laughing. Why am I laughing? Well, maybe I've heard all humans' wishes, and I have no choice but to laugh anymore. You guys are really funny creatures. What you ask for, what you quote-unquote need versus what you quote-unquote want. We yell at children for it, and then apparently we, what, grow up? Did we forget that small thing too? We'll get into that as we go on with the posts and everything else. Laughing Lamp color scheme, I chose orange, green, and purple just for the sake of that they're unified. Unified colors of the prime colors, red, yellow, and blue. The ideology is that we all looked at, again, like a pair of glasses, which the 211 symbol, I wish I had it with me. I apologize for not having that. It's going to be explained, the eye of two, the eye of two. We'll get into that. We could look through life in one perspective. We could look through life in another perspective, kind of like 3D glasses, so we could watch the movie better. But at the end of the day, we always see the same thing. Well, we could do it this way. Yes, yes. We could do it that way. Absolutely. But in order to succeed, young man, young woman, young whatever, you kind of have to do it this way. Sorry, it's the only way to do it. Good point. I like it. It's not the way the world works. So I'm basically wearing glasses made by you guys. I have my own perspective. I have an idea. I got a different road. But life only allows me to go one way. I don't appreciate that kind of ideology, and I don't like it, and I'm hoping to change that kind of perspective on life. The 211 theory will explain, that's a theory of mine, by the way. It kind of puts humanity into place. Let me scroll on up here just so I can keep myself somewhat knowledgeable on what the heck I'm going to say. All right, I don't have it in front of me. Let's talk about the 211 theory that I have and this eye of 2 symbol. The eye of 2, it's a figure. It looks like an eye, I would imagine. Depends on your perspective. And it uses the same color scheme on purpose. The idea behind, well, let's start with one side. It's 2 scratch marks. The other side is 2 scratch marks, but the Greeks decided to put pillars on top. And then, I guess as things evolved, we ended up finding a symbol that we all unify with as the symbol for 2. You look at that symbol, you're not confusing yourself. Everybody universally has been taught what that means, what it's supposed to mean. It doesn't mean anything else. That's the way it is. That's it. Back in the days, perhaps you could say I used to scratch in my numbers. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 1 plus 1 equals 2. The perspective on those 2 is, perhaps after an extended period of time, looking at the same symbol over and over again, you start to realize that that picture of the 2 that you originally drew starts to look like another number of convenience, an 11. 211 theory. And I'll explain what those symbolize in just a moment. Then you have the supposed Greek 2. It's the same idea, but they decided to cap it on the top and on the bottom. When you look at life through your own perspective, those 11s that I call them are those that get a wonderful idea and they go off and they kind of forget the idea, what it was meant to be, what it was meant to do. I joke about it down here because of the community that I'm surrounded by and say it's like giving a fiend their line of coke and they just, oh yeah, and for about half an hour to about an hour, if they're lucky, was a good idea at first until you crashed. What we forgot to do was put little building blocks. The Greeks remembered to do that. So now I can learn a road, I can travel it, stop, learn a positive outcome and or a negative outcome, and everything in life has positives and negatives. So why aren't we looking at life as, yes, here's an idea, it's got its positives and out. Oh, the eye of 2 is, remember back in elementary school, we did circle for one thing, a circle for another, and in the middle was the similarities. Does the eye of 2 seem similar now? I can see it this way, I can see it this way, and this is how it's unified. You can, however. That's the different perspective of life and how we're told it. We'll get into that in just a moment. Now, the thing that I wrote about this eye of 2, I'll read it to you guys in my perspective because I believe it's one thing for you to read something on your own. People can lead you to a book, a paragraph, a phrase, a psalm, so on and so forth. With an infinite amount of human beings out there, there is potentially an infinite amount of ways to perceive that line. And sometimes it takes us 3-4 reads of it for somehow that thing to click with us. But if it's explained to us, if it's said to us with a sort of passion, now the Indian tribes used to do that, pass down everything through word of mouth. Written down was improper for them, again, because I say, my son may take it one way, my daughter will take it a different way, whether it helps or it doesn't, their own perspectives is taken from that one line. This line is meant for a male child, this line is meant for a female child, and that's traditional things from back in the day. Today, I don't know what kind of mess y'all in with that kind of stuff, but we'll get into a interesting perspective of my ideology on it. That's all right. So I read the eye of 2. In 1988, this is where the jokes may start coming in. Yes. On the 2nd day of the 11th month, a wish was made. 1989, on the 6th day of the 8th month, a wish was granted. That's me. And next second, I'm going to generalize these things and go into a Q&A a little bit later, which we'll get into specifics. 1989, August 6th, 1989, I was born. I would say that the wish was made on my father's birthday of 88, November 2nd. 9 months later, thanks to conversation with my parents, I learned that I was a 9-month baby, and I did the math myself and figured out that the holiday or special day closest to the 9-month cycle of my womb life was my dad's birthday, thereabouts. And a wish was made, and 9 months later the wish was granted, and here I am. What makes me so special? I want to get into a specific thing here because I know it to be true, and I also know that the world seems to be seeking these individuals. I sound crazy, and that's fine. Understand it. I am not just the firstborn child of my parents. I am the virgin-born child of my parents. What the hell does that mean? How could she possibly... Are we getting biblical here? No, no. I remember going through schooling and everything. My August 6, 1989, and I believe 8:40 p.m. So I think I have another 30 minutes until my actual birth. But we're not getting into that. Where did I leave off? The virgin birth. Well, I remember going through school and through many activities and being called a virgin of driving, virgin of video games, a virgin, a noob, and there's always a name used for somebody who's going through their first time activity. And they used to joke about it with us. You say, oh, you're still a virgin, you haven't popped your cherry, you're still a virgin. Right. So that got me thinking on a perspectival value. Back in their day, I don't think virgins existed after the age of 12 when fathers gave away their daughters for marital rights and business purposes and throneships and kingliness and royalty and all other kinds of things. So I would assume that logically speaking, 1 + 1, 211 theory, 1 + 1 = 2. 1 + 1 means she was definitely not a sexual virgin by the time she was found, but a virgin childbirth. That's me! I am my mother's virgin birth child. Now, exactly what does that mean? In today's age, there was no other in that womb before me. No abortions, no miscarriages. I was the first. I created the room inside her for my brother to come afterwards. The virgin birth child, not just the firstborn child, the virgin birth child of my mother. That's what makes, I claim, me special. Virgin born of my parents. Something very rare, I imagine, today, especially considering at the rate our daughters lose their sexuality. Romans 2 is really interesting, and quite frankly, you should look into Star Children, because the way you speak, it sounds like it would be something. It's hard for me to jump on anybody's ship, because I learned from he's a friend, a felon, the meaning behind getting so close and yet so far. I'm going to share this story with you since we're on this subject now, and it relates to the theories and perspectives of all life and creatures and out there. Like I said, this guy is a felon, and his perspective on life is, I don't care. This is him. I don't care. I've been through this, I've seen through this, I have had to, and this is what I decided to do. As a matter of fact, I want the world to burn. But it all came down to a story of 2 farming families, goats, you name it. We had the vegetables and everything going. It came down to one family was not succeeding enough on their farm. They lost everything, they lost all their animals. Through a feeling of jealousy, they went over to their neighbors and started taking out their animals. They get caught. The punishment being, I'm going to help you and your family on my farm. We removed the idea of punishing them with handcuffs or murder or killing or any of that stuff. We decided this is where we went so close. Bring them onto our farm. Teach them the ways of raising the cattle, how to properly take care of your vegetation. Find out where you went wrong, and this is where we went so far. I am giving them the knowledge they need, or should I say my side of the family in this story gives them the knowledge they need to go back to their farm and start again, not necessarily be dependent on me. And that's where his story all of a sudden, he's a dealer, that's his business. Your 9 to 5 is to kiss rear end your own way. My 9 to 5 is to do my own thing. His 9 to 5 is to get you hooked on him, make you need him. And he will do that to that family and ensure that they never gain the knowledge or the freedom to use the knowledge they gained to go back and start over again. Slavery. You need me. You come back to me. You will always need me. That's his nature through the life he's lived, the experiences he's had. I grew up around the streets. I grew up around all kinds of shit, and I'm living a different kind of life than he is. The perspectives that we see are very, very different. The Eye of Two is the idea that we're all living many, many different styles of life based off of whys and whys. Those little things. That's what makes us who we are. My culture, my religion that I grew up with, I'm not religious anymore. I mean, I'll get into a certain aspect of religious and faith and so on and so forth. I have my own ideology behind it. That's because as the snake that I am, 1989, I have slithered through this life quietly and whatever, so on. And now here I am on August 6th, my birthday. The lion, the Leo, is ready to roar. And I'm done sitting by idly. We'll get into the snake and other terminologies of, or should I say, theories and stories of how you guys seem to perceive those lovely, lovely books. Okay, on the next slide, again, I'm going to go through this very quickly just to introduce, again, my perspective, and I'll get into specifics later. You ever wonder about that quiet person that you were supposed to worry about? They always told us, be careful of that quiet kid. There's always something wrong with them. They're going to do this. They're going to blow up this. They're going to do this. Hi, I wore black. I grew my hair out. I put headphones in my ear. I had very little friends, if you want to call them that, through schooling, and I had to move from one city to another, so I really had like no friends, sort of, after I moved. Some of you are here, and hi, thank you very much. I love you guys forever. But I went through that, and I was even called into the guidance counselor's office at one point. Again, the quiet kid. They were supposed to worry about me, and they actually asked me, they said, you know, Abraham, we have reports from your teachers. They're very worried about you, and they suspect that you may be under the influence of anything. Are there any issues at home? Are there any problems at home? I looked at the guidance counselor and I said, all due respect, I'm the cleanest kid you have in this school. I don't drink. I didn't smoke anything at the time. I didn't use anything. Later in life, I found out confirmation, I'll call it, of what was going on in my school. I've always had the gut feeling they're there, but you go back to mom and dad or your brother or your sister or your cousins, and you go and try to confirm this feeling, and then they give you a story, and another one gives you another story, and another one. So your confirmation, the thought that you originally had, gets blown out of proportion until later on. And I call it a confirmation on purpose, and I joke about it with some of the security guards I run into. Catholic religion or Christian, whatever you want to call it, they get one confirmation in their life, but I say that I receive confirmations every day of my life. Every day I receive a confirmation of knowledge, of an idea, of something that I thought that was eventually true, and I'm not happy about it. That's kind of why I'm doing all this. I am the silence that speaks, and here I am. I'm going to speak as much as I can, to the best ability that I can, to at least express what I've seen, what I know is going on, and the fakery of life, and the handshakiness, and the wearing of certain clothing, and the interviewee. I've been there, I've done that. I've been to college, I've been here. Actually, that's why I have these. Let me pull these down for just a moment. This is a Blue Angels photo, and I just had it up for background, but that's fine. I hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, it was actually signed by Blue Angels, by the way, because they did an air show with us at VFA 86 when we were in South Carolina. I was an aviation structural mechanic at the time, and the jet went down for a flat tire. Something like that, I think. And my supervisor actually called me and said, would you like to come in and change a tire? I didn't want to, but I did. Turns out, by technicality, for 30 minutes of my life, because that's how long the work order goes, I was a Blue Angel. I'm not a real Blue Angel, but because of technicalities, guys, pride. Pride, pride, pride. This is a burnt piece of wood, United States Navy on it, and it was given to me by an ex-Hells Angel biker president support group. I met him on a job site. We got into interesting conversations. I learned a lot about New Jersey, Berrien County, New York. I learned a lot from this gentleman, and as a matter of fact, he definitely recommended that I should not prospect because I'm not cut out to do what's necessary to be one of them. Toys for tots, huh? So innocent, is it? Anyway, just a couple things. The rest of it is my Navy stuff. deployment photo, my security badge, not security, just a security badge, sorry, but a security award, proof that I was in the biz, and an award that I got while I was on the job. Bachelor's degree, proof of my education, to show you that I have at least 4 years, technically by you guys it was a 3-year degree, but a bachelor's degree of science in criminal justice to at least speak on the perspective of this much knowledge. So if you want to question my paper trail and where I come from, I went to a university, I survived it, and I got that stupid piece of paper at the end of the fucking day. What a bunch of malarkey. But it gives me the right to talk a lot of shit on the field. Yeah, we'll get into that later. Corruption's pretty big. But anyway, not the biggest point. I'm going to explain more of this stuff later on. It's just my perspective. Again, I'm just the crazy guy that's potentially been there, potentially seen things, potentially heard things. I don't know shit. Right. I don't know shit. One of the biggest posts that I come up with is on the next subject here. It takes a home to make a neighborhood. It takes your neighborhoods to make a city. It takes your cities to make the county. It makes the counties to make your state. And it makes these states to make this country. We forgot the seed of that, and I did that on purpose. You go back to the home. What's inside that home? You and me and whatever the heck else lives inside there. Fix it. You can't fix a neighborhood if your home is messed up. And if your home is messed up, it's because you or somebody inside there is messed up. And the most important person is you, the individual, first. Okay, if I could take care of myself here, whatever, then I can teach a little kid to do the same thing. I can assist my partner to do the same things. The house does its own thing. It shows the neighborhood your house, and maybe they mold from it. Funny thing is, where I live, by the way, just to describe that it's not going to be easy to do in my particular neighborhood. Meth park, Crip territory. I'm not joking about this shit. I'm not joking. But I can't call nobody and get anybody shut down here. And don't you try either. That's life. It is what it is. The big number 2. I don't want it to be that way, but I do have to live it. I have to live within my means. I have to live where they accept me. It's a 55 and up community everywhere. How I got down here and how I ended up here, I'm going to get into that story a whole lot later. And if you'd like to ask on the specifics, we'll get into that again later. I want to introduce the lamp. The lamp is the main subject here. My stories, my life is what the lamp is made up all about. You, me, the amps inside of it. And that's a funny term because we know where that's going to joke to next. Another mind's potential. We all have a mind, and we all have the potential to come up with a solution. Every time we come up with an idea or we have that thought inside of our stomach, we go to our best friends and cousins and moms and dads and brothers and sisters or somebody to confirm something. Hey, what do you think? How do you feel? Ah, ooh, ee, ooh, ah. A different mind's perspective, their potential to give you a solution for your idea. Amp can also be interchanged in the sense of, not interchanged, that's the wrong terminology. The words inside of AMP, A-M-P itself. Alternative mental perspective, alternative mind perception, another mind's potential. All three very interesting things, small things that perhaps we've just thrown away, realize that life is the way life is. I can't change nothing about it, and I have to do it just to keep my job, just to keep my... I say you're wrong, and I'm doing it now, and I speak from my own experience. But we'll get into those things a little bit later on. Fix yourself to fix your home and show yourself that you can make a neighborhood, let them know that you guys are better. This meth park that I live in, by the way, here's a funny story, true story. One of the kids next door came over, and they help us with, I have a lot of snakes. I got, I think, 8, 9, 10 snakes, and I have 9 cats now. He helps, and a bunch of rats and mice to help feed these guys, a bunch. And I'd love to show you this stuff later on. Comes over and says, can I help out with the rats? Can I help out with the snakes? Of course, of course. And at the end of every session, if you will, I always tell him, all right, man, have a good night, be safe. I met his father one day, and I said, stay safe. And this man told me, nah, dude, stay dangerous. Stay dangerous. This kid's perspective on a nice neighbor of light skin is telling him to stay safe, and his own father is one of them characters. Stay dangerous. Yeah, I met his mother too. She tried to break into my car. It's not a lovely place, but we make it what we want it to be. If you've been in the military, you'll understand anything in life is what you want it to be. You make it what you want it to be. Could be a negative surrounding background, but I still make it positive within me, and I share the positivity with my family, and we get to leave this shit park with smiles on our face and a finger at each and every one of these neighbors. They cannot exactly mess with me. They don't mess with me. They can't. In my own weird way, I live too much of a good example for them to just throw me out. That's my big-headed opinion on it. I don't know what the truth is. Yes, they screw with us. They do what they can. I don't physically fight. I don't get into altercations. I'm a man of words, and words has gotten me to 32 years of age and survived me to this point of my life. Words. I've gotten into 2 physical confrontations. Not proud stories, and they were way long ago. I fight with my words. Alright, next important little factor, I'm going to move on, is that sticks and stones, this is an old saying we used to say, sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt me. I'm going to reword that with a different perspective, that sticks and stones may break your bones, and words will hurt the most. I learned something very important back in New Jersey even. I'm in Florida now. No, I'm not a criminal runaway. Yes, that is what this state is for. Criminal runaways. Holidays in Disney World, that's the tourist photo shot, bird's eye view that brings in the money that they need. You guys are foolish if you want to think that. And anybody who's ever been down here, with all due respect, y'all were criminal runaways or whatever, that from another. I have met people from all over this country hiding out in some of the richest neighborhoods and some of the crackiest neighborhoods, and they're all runaways from past lives, not allowed to go back to their states for legal reasons, and Florida is a safe zone, not just for them, but a safe zone for those around the world that happen to make it this country, commit a crime, and now need a place to hide out before they go back. Criminal justice major, guys. Criminal justice major. I've always wanted to be a cop, but the people around me told me I should be something more into social work. You like to help kids, you like to talk, It's always, that's another perspective. I want to be, and I want to be, I want to be, I want to be, I want to be. But then everybody around you always says, you should, honey, sweetheart, you should, honey, sweetheart, you should. Listen to them too. Listen to them too. Because I tried to be a cop. I shaved my face. I did everything. I did it. So I took the civil service. I did everything appropriately. I never got it. I'll get into reasons why. I'm sure my personality has a lot to do with it. I'll share one story. I went to an interview for Specials, which is auxiliary police. It's part-time. It's baloney stuff. They do traffic detail. They're not even real cops. And they asked me one question at the interview, and they said, you know what, Mr. Hanna, if we took you on board, I'd like to know, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? And I told them the honest truth. I told them internal affairs. Internal affairs. Oh, that was the wrong thing to say. I know that now. Internal affairs is not where they want you. They don't need a snitch in the department. I get it. I understand. But I guess that's not the way to do it. That's not how I'm going to clean up law enforcement. I'm going to joke on my background a little bit more and more because, again, I come from New Jersey. I come from Bergen County, and I come from Garfield. I have seen a lot, and we keep our mouths shut. I don't believe in that. Well, I'll get into a description about blood, and anyway. I also say that it's perhaps not who you know, but how they know you. I know, thanks to my life's experiences, quite a lot of high up, powerful political figures and law enforcement individuals. I know a lot of them, and they know me too. I've worked for them. How do they know me? Not a good boy. No. Loudmouth, big mouth, loose lipper. And yet these same people have loose-lipped their knowledge onto me. The street life, the truth of business, what it takes, what it's got to do. I'm not going to share their names. I'm not going to share any businesses. I'm going to keep them protected and safe as best as I can. But I obviously have such a small resume that if you did your yeah, I am a troublemaker, because if you did your 1 + 1 mathematics and read my Facebook resume, which is my legit resume, then it's obvious which job I was at. But if I don't mention their names, hey, you're protected. But I only pushed wheelchairs for one job. I've worked security for 2 different places. Oh, well. 1 + 1 will equal 2 always. If you keep putting 2 and 2 together, I'm going to get into that description a little bit later too. These are little phrases and sayings that we say all the time, and then we just skip by them. We only think about it after we've taken a good acid trip, and I'm just joking about that. But really, we only think about it when we finally have the moment in our day to think about it. And then all of a sudden it makes 7 different senses of ways. Wait a minute. I could see it, I could see it, I could see it. I wonder how they meant it. I wonder how they meant it. Right. How they meant it. Who cares? How do you take it? How do you take it? Okay. Mind, body, soul. That's age-old religion and culture and spiritual. Everybody makes fun of it, but I do believe those things exist. However, here we go. Your parent body, your parent mind, together your parents' souls inside of you. Yes, there's a genetic tree of your aunts, uncles, grandpa. Yeah. But your mom and dad made you. A mom and dad made you. You get it? Okay. Conquer your body, conquer your mind, and tame your souls. I say this is funny because my mother and father sometimes ask me, where do you get that personality from? Where'd you get that attitude from? I don't know. And I sometimes have to throw it in their face. I'm not just made up of you and ma. I'm made up of cousin so-and-so, cousin so-and-so, auntie so-and-so, uncle so-and-so, grandma, grandpa. I'm made up of them too. And once I throw that knowledge in their face, this piece of awakening in their face, oh yeah, you're right. You know, actually, as a matter of fact, my brother, your uncle so-and-so, was a big this and fighter. Okay. But why? I don't understand why you have it. Really? We'll get in that later. Who versus whatever. So I also joke. I said, I'm created of fire, which was passion and love from my parents, that wish that was made. I was forged in the flames of harsh truths and spoken words. Now the joke on that is the friends and kids around me growing up used to come to school sometimes, and they used to say, my mommy and daddy, they said a bad word on me. They called me useless, and they called me all kinds of derogatory words. So was I. In one language or another, so was I. It was funny. It's kind of funny. It turned my house into a sitcom because of how it was presented to us as children. We had the mean and mom and dad face, and then we had the joking mom and dad face when they said this same line. If I read to you, shut up, and then I said to you, shut up, it's a different meaning. Who says it to you and how it's said to you is very important. When I said I moved down here, I learned something important, not only from New Jersey and down here. We don't relate to the quote-unquote alcoholic walking down the street of our local 7-Eleven stores. We don't relate to them. They are nobody to us. So they can tell us to go fuck ourselves all day long, and you just, your brother, your mother, your father, your sister, your family member, your best of friends, they tell you to go fuck yourself. It means something all of a sudden. Well, unity to me tells me that I'm supposed to be just as close as the alcoholic at 7-Eleven, that his fuck you means something. It's supposed to. And funny is, to me it does. To me it does. I don't know this person, but I don't know what I did to them to deserve a fuck you out of nowhere. Granted, I may have given them an attitude about go mind their business. Okay, maybe I deserved it. But I could tell my brother to go mind his business, and he'll tell me to go fuck myself, and it don't bother me, because he has a different way to say it. And I said it to him a different way. Psychology, psychiatry, and therapy. I don't believe in it. I just believe in your own personal weakness, and you need somebody to confirm that gut feeling of yours. That's my theory on that, and 211 theory will open that up slightly. The Sailor Mouth disclaimer of the salty coats, that was just a joke. This is going to be salty sessions from here on out. And I plan on getting the computer and the webcam up and running by next Friday, because I want to do a weekly show every Friday at 8 o'clock. And whether people watch it live for the Q&A session or not, that's up to you guys. It will be posted for future viewing at some point, and the idea is to send people there and have them watch it. Has their own answers most of the time. Yeah, I know. And I don't mean to poke fun at people's career choices. Congratulations for getting into what you get into. But that's just like my perspective on it. I've gotten into maintenance field, I've gotten into the military field, I've gotten into the security field, and I have my own perception and perspective of what it's potentially supposed to be. And then the bosses and the customers and the clients that you run into tell you otherwise. We all get old, and 8 o'clock is, well, like I said, I work overnight, so I don't really have a bedtime. I sleep when my body says crash, which has not been much lately. Alright guys, let's get into the next portion here. Loose lips sink ships. One of my bosses told me that, especially I was a sailor, and he says, don't you know that terminology? I said, of course I know it, and I know what it means. Snitches get stitches. See no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil. However, we are also taught, if you see something, say something. What does that mean? That kid next door is told to live dangerous, and I tell him to stay safe. Who does he listen to? Of course, his blood. His blood, daddy. Why would he listen to me? I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice neighbor. I don't get messed up like his parents do. But I ain't his blood. You know what blood is to me? Blood, to me, is that substance you spew because they asked you to bite your tongue your whole life. That's what blood is to me. Nothing but the substance I'm spewing because I was told to bite my tongue. Watch what you say. Hush, don't act that way. Dress appropriately. Do this and do that. Blood thicker than water? I don't trust or believe in any of that stuff. I love you guys and I thank you very much. But my perspective on the definition of these things, I guess you can say, corrupted by my communities, corrupted by the world and environment around me. Everything came out crazy, just like a child learns. Remember the first time you learned? Everything sounds crazy. We normalize it for ourselves. Make sense? 1 + 1 is 2. Yeah, I get it. But until I normalize this, now I understand it. 2 + 2 is 4, but I add to 4 differently than you do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Most people can just do that consecutively. If you're telling me 2 + 2, I'll give you the 2, and I have to go 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a rhythm to my counting. Every 2, 4, 8 multiples of 2 and 4 are added in my head like anybody else. 1, 2, 3, 4. But in multiples of 2. 3 + 5, I take the 5 and I'll count 3 into digits of 3. 3 6s and 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, here's a better example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have to count that way. Do I have ADD? No. I normalized my counting for myself. I made it into a musical pattern that I understood it, so that when somebody else can ask me 5 + 3, I can just tell you 8. But I did a song and dance in my head of repetitive nature to remember it. I didn't learn to read, just like this little girl that I raised, by teaching her the sounds specifically and how they add up together to make the word. You learn the word, you learn the pattern of the puzzle of the way those words are written, those letters are written, and every time you see those words together, you already know the word. Notice, over and over again. It's not na-ha-te-ik, huh? But it's notice. We know it's notice. We learn the C makes other sounds. We learn the variables, long U's, short U's, consonants and long, but we don't put them into practice when we teach anybody else. Our language just looks like just letters thrown together, and I have to make sense of which two letters make the th sound, the ch sound, the j sound. Which j is this G supposed to represent? Don't have ADD. I have a confused little fucking kid that doesn't know which goddamn fucking sound to use. I'm going to get into that a little bit later too, because this leads into this society of complaining millennials and so on and so forth. You, the parents, and we today, the parents, are to blame, and I'll get into that a little bit later. Here's another little interesting ideology. It says, don't be a watt, don't be a watt of a light bulb, be an amp of a lamp. It speaks for itself. You could be a little watt of somebody's idea. I got an idea. You can put your inputs in all day long, but it's not your idea. Huh? What? What? Thank you. I'm going to steal every idea. Okay, thank you very much, but it's mine. It's mine. It's not ours. The amp and the lamp idea, yeah, it's funny terminology to put together, and I think very creative in a sense that I was able to come up with such a thing and turn it into something, I guess. The laughing lamp and be an amp. Be a spark of light in this world of darkness that my felonious friend said he gladly waits for this world to burn. The world is not burning. When I do 1 + 1 in my head, a burning world means it's on fire, which means there is light enlightening the shadowy areas of this world, but the shadows are still there. Granted, light creates shadow, and I understand that mentality and perspective as well. But if the world was on fire, then it would be showing all the shady shit. It's not, or it is, and we've accepted it, and we've become just as shady as the shit. I don't think that's a good outlook on life as a whole. We turned this crazy information, as I said before, and normalized it. So who is to say that what normal is now isn't crazy? And what crazy is supposed to be ain't what normal is. But now you define your own standards of normal and crazy, and you put your own definition of what these words are supposed to mean. Hook and Reel, hey, what's going on, man? Nice to see you. I know you are. I'm glad you could join me, man, and I hope you enjoy what I can provide. As I said from the beginning of the stream, I had to do it this way through technical difficulties, so I'll get the YouTube stream hopefully running by next Friday. But we will get there. We will get there. Have faith and keep moving forward. And so some form or manner. That's all right. That's all my posts, for the most part, I believe. I think I've gone through most of the explanations and how I meant for them to come out. Me being Damascus Steel, because my parents being of Syrian descent, I happen to be Damascus Steel. And the light effects and the enlightenment. I'm going to introduce to you a perspective that perhaps I only see because of the way I see it. The name jinn and all that stuff and where it comes from, being a fire, being a light. I said it from the beginning of this stream. I am jumping into religion here. I come from a Christian background, so I'm going to use that as my big reference points. Right, the virgin conception. I'm going to explain this. I think I said it earlier, but I will do it again. The virgin conception. When Mary was... let me joke about it. Let me throw the joke out there first. Here comes Mary. She gets pregnant by God. She has this wonderful idea on what to do because she... And I'm going to call that a sole proprietorship. Along came 3 wise men and said, it seems like you'll need some protection with your story. You need some lawyers. Turned into an LLC. 32 mysterious years later, we don't know anything about it. Here comes a man with 12 apostles. Corporation. Maybe my perspective sees this connection. That's the joke. So this virgin born. By the time, in Mary's age, Mary's day, you have to put yourself in that perspective. We watch a lot of olden nights and old world fucking films and everything, and we didn't catch the point that the Vikings and everybody else was giving away their 12-year-olds for marriage and power and glory and kingliness and royalty. Their virginity is gone long time ago. In today's age, it's done through unfortunate means. You can try and protect your lovely little girls all you want, but I don't have the perspective and life experience to tell you that there's any more virgins. Needless to say, back in that day, your virginity was taken away at such a young age that there was no chance, no way the ugliest broad got laid. The ugliest broad got laid. And when she got older, she had to sell herself. Anyway, that's the joke on that. So the virgin conception. When I went through a lot of firsts in my life, I was called breaking my cherry. I said this. I'm popping a cherry for this, popping a cherry for this. When a woman gets pregnant, whether it's natural or unnatural or something happens, may or may not lose the child. That's your first. That's your first one. That's what happened. The gift that you were supposed to have, make it or not have it, and keep it or not make it or whatever, you lost it. You lost it. That virgin birth is gone. Your womb made room for it. It started to move body parts around. And whether you showed up for a limited time or you didn't show up at all, the virginity is gone. The next one is not the same. In the conspiracy world, I can say that these bloodthirsty individuals in this world, that's what they're looking for. They're taking away potentials for your firstborn children, and that was a big deal back in the day. Kill the firstborn child, destroy your firstborn sons specifically. They were worried about something, obviously, when you do 1 + 1. And I'm not going to cover up or sugarcoat my ideology, my perspective on how I define these words. This is the reality of my life. And it's going to relate to this next portion that I was going to get into. Who, to you guys, is the enlightened one? The first angel. But he is in our books in all terminology written down as the devil, Satan, king of hell, the ruler of... I can follow your story all you want. I can try to get a grasp of it and not take it literally. And I think I did that to the best ability that I can. Now this is where you can call me a Satanist. I'm not a Satanist. If he was the morning star, the enlightened one, the brightest of the brightest, then maybe I introduce this perspective. This light saw something shady in Daddy, and Daddy said, get the fuck out of here. But that's a perspective that I could look at it as. One of many, one of sillies. It's all however you want it to be. But in essence then, couldn't I say that here's my backup for that? I, as a son of a father and mother, get into arguments and debates with them every day, each and every day. I still love my parents, and my parents still love me. So how can I think for a second that daddy and son got this eternal war of stupidity going on here? The Greek religion will express the ugliness, the rape of their gods and goddesses and creations of this. But that's their deities. That's their gods. We worship those things. So why am I not allowed to look at God as the proprietor of actual evil and producing his light-born son who's seen something shady? Keep your mouth fucking shut! Why can't I have that perspective on this gentleman? Why do I have to look at him as an evildoer who started a war with daddy over power? I'll joke again and say, why was it only 6 days that it took for God to create it? What happened on the 7th day? He took a break? This all-powerful took a break? What if I told you that on the 7th day he was usurped? What if my perspective is somebody found the power and said, we don't need you anymore. 7 days? Fuck it. It's our day. Not your day, our day. We are given historical knowledge, we're given historical things that we read and we try to interpret every day. Something that establishes the meaning of, the distinguishing of, how it's supposed to be taken, and again, eliminates your ability to free will your way through the thought process of how it normalizes for me. That doesn't 1 + 1 to me That's what I missed. I missed that post. So let me get back to that too. 1 plus 1 is very important when it comes to 211 theory because it's based on the perspective on how we see the answer for number 2. What does 2 equal to you? So just give me one moment here. That is just an idea, a perspective that I'm allowed to have. I can look at that story the same as you, and I understand your 1,000 different interpretations, but only one of those doors rings sense to me. This door concept that I just brought up is very important with the idea of we are opening doors each and every day for ourselves. Each and every day we open the door for our futures, our children, and so on. Each and every day in the past, our parents did that for us. Did they recognize the price that came with some of those doors? Did they not care about the price that came with some of those doors? Today, we have the big questions of, why did my child OD? Why is my child doing such negative activities? The door you opened. The door you opened. Uncle Joey keeps bringing a fucking pot of Coke to your barbecues, and you still invite him over. Because he's Uncle Joey. He's blood. No, he's not blood. I live with a family of people that come from a very interesting place in Indiana. That's as much information as I'll give on that. I'm going to dig into more specifics at one point later on, but they come from such a, I'm going to call it what it is, a fucked up background. Fucked up. Fucked up. And Uncle Joey was at every party, but nobody liked Uncle Joey. But those young little kids that are there got to see the Irish and whatever fight. There was an Irish background. Those two families fucking hated each other. Romanians and other kind of mixed in there too and whatever. But the big ideology that united them was that bowl. It didn't just unite the adults. It united the children. Ay, what a sick thought. No, that doesn't happen in this day. What are you talking about? You sick little... No, it happens. It happens. And it goes back to the ad army, and I'll get into that. So here we go. Are we still putting 2 and 2 together? Well, let's try one step at a time. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. A, E, I, O, U, and Y, and PEMDAS. Yeah, my theory relates a lot on mathematics, which is actually my weakest subject in school, academia, back in the day. But PEMDAS ended up making sense when it came to putting things together and how it adds up. People lie to your face every day, and you could read it and see it, and you're trying to make sense of where the truth is. The truth is there, but what you're told is the lie. You have to take it for what it is and move on with it. Shut your fucking mouth and move. I can't. I have lived my whole life never shutting my mouth. I have no friends, no family. I've lost jobs because of my mouth. It is what it is. It is what it is, I say. So I have to make the best of it with what I have. So here I am at the lamp, attempting to do my own thing, not rely on anybody else, share what I can based off of my perspective. The idea being that what I say will eventually click inside somebody else's stomach, and they don't need mommy and daddy's false confirmations of what life is, your brothers and sisters' false confirmations. But here's somebody that fucking makes sense. I can relate to his way of speaking. I can relate to the perspectives that he's seen, the things that he's seen in his life, and he can understand them, or she can understand them. I say to everybody that, okay, here's actually, because that's where this line comes in, that there is a you looking through those very eyes right now. There's at least, according to this, 7 of yous looking through your eyes, and maybe your family, friends, and whoever else is in the... And you're here. You ever sit down and wonder to yourself, holy crap, I'm actually here. There's a me right now, looking through these eyes, moving these hands. Oh, wow. There's a me here. That's a realization that we come to and still question. How can you realize and question something? That means your thinking was wrong. This is actually something I teach my little one. Every thought, I think, is wrong until you know. I think 1 + 1 is 2. But until I do the work, now I know the answer is 2. Oh, everything you think is wrong, and that's something I teach into that little girl, because she says a lot of wild shit. She's wrong. Wrong. So I have to let her know that. And I say, what kind of vision do you see? This is the vision that we share. This is the sixth sense, as I brought that up before. Let me bring this in. Sounds crazy, and we watched the movie, and I got to see ghosts, I got to see spirits, and so on and so forth. We, as human beings or whatever, we are taught that there's 5 natural senses to the human being. Sight, smell, taste, touch, and hear. Number 6, feel. Don't get confused. Don't get confused. Feel and touch are different. Now I get to show and touch my ara. I am touching my shot glass. It feels smooth. When I drink it, it makes me feel a burn, a cough, makes me feel like shit, actually. But how are you feeling today? Are you feeling smooth? Are you feeling bumpy? Are you feeling rough? No, you feel happy. You feel sad. You feel angry. Jealousy. Cheers, by the way. I forgot all about this. Good old Middle Eastern. Boy, I hate alcohol. God, I hate alcohol. The sixth sense is feeling. Feeling is what unites us all. And what happens during this unity? I'm watching a movie with my friends and family, whatever it might be. Something happens in the scene and I laugh. I look over to my friends and family and they are not. Do I stop laughing? Cheers. Do I stop laughing? No. Fuck you. It's funny to me. I'm going to laugh and I'm going to continue to laugh and I'm going to annoy your ears until I can't laugh anymore. Let's turn that around. Something happens in the scene. All of your friends unite in laughter. You don't get it. Do I fake my laugh? Yeah, I had to. I had to slither through life. I slithered through life. I had to. I had to be accepted. I can't be looked upon as a weirdo. Who saw me as the weirdo were your street psychiatrists. A professor of mine once called these people street lawyers because they think they know everything, and actually at the end of the day, they do more. They read your human behavior, they read your eyes, your face, how you respond, how you sit. They read you every day. That's your HR department. That's what they do. That's what they're meant to do. They're meant to find anything they can to aid you or screw you. The light. That fire can be used, now back to religious metaphor, your tongue of fire, which was a gift supposedly given to us in order to communicate. So why is this fire being used more to burn than it is to guide? That's what the fire is meant to do for me. Burn something or guide something. Let me give you a little perspectival story here. You're walking into a dark cave. You have two choices of light sources, one of which is a torch. The other is a lamp. Well, there is a difference, but does it need to be explained? Yeah, because I'm stupid. A torch is an uncovered fire source, one that could be easily swayed by the breath of your nose and the movement of your hand. A lamp, typically speaking, is an encased and enclosed light source, so that with little holes that you could barely affect it with your breath and movement. So when you go down to this dark cave, which light source do you end up choosing? Well, let's look at it from these perspectives. One person goes down this cave with the torch, lights it up, goes on down their way. The other person goes on down with the lamp, lights it up, goes down their way. The one with the torch knows that those are his shadows being casted across the cave walls and so on and so forth. But however, due to the unwavering, or should I say the wavering flicker of this flame, every now and then his foot looks like a fucking rat. And he jumps and he scares, and these noises cause that cave to close in, break down, or maybe actually bring in the animals from the outside and actually cause a potential harm to this gentleman. It's an unstable light source. The other one, on the other hand, yes, sure, it does flicker. It's going to flicker. That's natural. But it's a more, steady light source. That light source, I know that's my foot, and it's always going to be my foot in the shadow. That is my nose, that's always going to be my nose in the shadow. It's not going to change. So it's easier for me to get further into this fucking cave than it would for the other guy who's afraid of his fucking foot. Afraid to move forward. Alright? I've walked to people, I've introduced myself, I asked for help. These people give me their tongue of flame. Their flame was always meant to guide me to what? To the fire? Your words were meant to guide me to the fire. So you mixed-played it. I'm going to guide you, young man, but I'm going to guide you where I want you to go. Ah, you played with words just like a genie would do. I'm gonna fuck with you back. And none of my HR representatives appreciated that. None of my coworkers ever appreciated that. Only one man has ever appreciated my way of speaking. It's an old security boss of mine, and I will not drop his name. This man has connections. If you think your family got connections, if you think you live in an underworld, this is the man. Taught me everything. Payroll. He's going to see me as a CEO one day. I have that potential. However, I'm his loose lip candidate. His son worked a different guard position. He made electro dance music on his laptop. And that's it. It was a useless son of a cop with nothing to look forward to. That's most of New Jersey, by the way. Useless sons of a fucking loser that do nothing later on. But the truth of their families is, I'm not allowed to say all I'm saying. And I'm going to expose it all. And I'm going to attempt, I should say, to expose it all. You guys live your lives of solitude and silence and shut your mouth and don't supposed to say, don't you dare, how dare you, who are you to say? I'm here to say, I'm here to expose it all. Like the morning star in my perspective, I'm going to show the shady side to everything. A new perspective for you to look at and realize, oh shit, maybe being a black sheep wasn't a bad idea. Coloring yourself quickly, realizing the world around you sucks. I may not be going far in my life. I might just be making bare minimum wage with whatever job I have, but I'm happy. I'm happier than you are. I've never been prescribed medication, never needed it, never had an overdose or an addiction to worry about. I have stories to tell you about usage of things I've used, but the addiction and the problems, I ain't got it. Clean boy, clean paper trail. I got nothing negative in my paper record. Who I am causes problems at every job. Fuck them all then. I'm not going to be an ass kisser. Put on the suit. Fake your business's purpose to people I know require different forms of help. But your business doesn't allow me to do that. I have to conform and see it your way, or I get the highway. No. I can't approve of this kind of life, and so I am here today to make what I can. One of the biggest perspectives that Laughing Lamp wants to introduce is the picture of a snake, and its mouth wide open and tongue out. You got a man standing on the tongue. This man could face towards the forks and see two potential roads away. However, we also have the potential of the guy that was looking at the same two roads, but those two roads, no matter which one they took, led them to the snake. You walk through your own lives today, and you ask yourself with every step that you take, are you walking towards the mouth of the fucking beast, or are you walking away from it? Are you making your own way? My theory on that as well is, if you were to get swallowed by the snake, don't come back out of its mouth, and don't scratch your way out of the belly. Don't let your enemy know you got away. Survive being shit out so that you are a surprise attack. They think they're done with you, and you're gone. But you survived it. Come full circle. These are just sayings and phrases, guys. Come full circle and destroy your enemy again, or at least have a chance to take them on again. This time you could have had 7,000 other people come with you and take on this corporation. Do you see what the Laughing Lamp is trying to accomplish now? I know deep down inside of me, I'm not going to be able to ask you folks to quit your day jobs and start following me. I can't create fish out of thin air, and I can't create wine out of water. I don't do that kind of stuff. You got to do what you got to keep doing to make your livings and pay your own way. You got to keep doing, and I understand that. Keep doing that. So this is my way in today's age to come out to you and have you find a way to be with me on this journey. The Laughing Lamp's main purpose is to at least open up 1,000, if not an infinity amount of potential doors you can go to. Keep in mind, just because you think you're on a positive door doesn't mean that positive door doesn't have a twist and turn into a negative side outcome. We always think we're on the right path until how come we get a negative result. Sometimes we think we chose the wrong door, but holy shit, it worked out in our favor. Those doors you open is not just one door, there's other doors behind each one. We, in life in general, are afraid to open most doors. We don't realize that that door that's been calling to us, oh, that's the one, that's it right there. That's the one you should have gone to. That's the one you should have gone to. That's the one. Not the other ones, not the one mommy told you, not the one daddy told you, your brother told you, not the one this one told you. No. The door that's been calling to you, that gut, sixth sense, ass-kicking motherfucking feeling. That's the one you go to. With all the fear in the fucking world, that's the one you're supposed to go to. You are being misguided into somebody else's perspective on what it takes to survive the life. Doing what they have to do is different than what you have to do. The people that I was graciously met and got to know and speak with in my course of life have opened up shady motherfucking realities, confirmations of things of life, of true life, the drugs and how it's done, the games, what's ADD and all that other crap. All of you amphetamine children don't realize what you're taking, do you? And all you parents that approve of this for your children still ask yourself, why did my ADD child someday commit suicide? Why did they end up doing such and such criminal activity? Bowling date. A story to tell is that's one of the biggest dates I regret not keeping and keeping. But anyway, I was young, stupid, and whatever. One day you and I can have a one-on-one conversation about that, and I think you should know the truth about that day. Granted, you probably already know the truth, but the tripod y'all were a part of, it was a different life back then. I understand it. Hi, Carolyn, if you're here. I know you've been following lately, too. And I don't care about the X in that situation because that's the true snake in the grass. I might be a snake in my own sense, but this snake has been crawling through your gardens for years, and not once have you tried to shun me down. Not once. I do. Every day I think about what would have, could have, should have, would have. But here I am today doing what I can, will, and so on and so forth. We are where we are because of the experiences we've already had. We are where we are because of everything that's made us who we are today. And we realize that we are survivors because we're breathing right now. We're breathing. We're alive. We eat shit. I eat ramen noodles to this day. I don't care. It's cheap food. It's filling. Throw a can of tuna in there and you got your some protein. I think I'm doing very well for myself on a shit diet. But I noticed that those fat motherfucking Guido guap motherfuckers, fat as all hell, cops, uniform jobs, union guys, good job workers, they got a little too much meat on them. We joke, mafioso. Let me tell you something. From Bergen County to Indian River County, I learned that that's where New Jersey comes to retire. They're still around. They're still here. There's Freemasons are out there, by the way, too. All these groups are legitimate groups that exist, but we choose to ignore them because we claim that they don't affect us each and every day. Let me ask you, because I know I wanted to talk about unity, communication. Let me get to that, just as a good reference points, because this is very, very, very important to me. Okay. Because the both see both. I have many things that from back in the day, Kate. I won't bring them out now. I'll save them for potentially next week or a little bit later. But I still have every letter and envelope my friends have sent me from my boot camp days. Anything that I received on my deployment in letter fashion, I've saved and kept. I kept all of my memorabilia all of my awards and everything. I still have a lot of things from you guys, pictures and photos. I have a picture of me and Carolyn at the beach. I have her wrapping me up in toilet paper and lighting me on fire. Yeah, I was kind of a wild kid, but I was the quiet kid that you were supposed to worry about too. Okay, communication, unity, and sixth sense. Both see both, but one would rather. The two will see two, both, and as well. Because of terminology, that's such a confusing line because of how we say the word two and how it's meant to be said and how it's meant to be taken. And yeah, but because of how we're allowed to write it down, we can literally define the meaning of each word, and then I can also speak behind it so that you have a visual and hearing perspective on what it's supposed to mean. Communication and community, unity. To commune in unity is what a community is to me. Why is it separated for other people? Well, here's my joke. Here's a joke. Because of the things going on in today's world, we have communities forming all over the place, from LGBTQ to the black community to Jewish communities to Italian communities to Arabic communities of segregated. Y'all are segregations that feel united within each one. Where is the unity? I'll be damned if I have Reverend so-and-so tell me that his black community is feeling united in a sense of such and such, when your black community still has blood and Crip fucking ideology. What are you talking about? Republican and Democrat. What unity? What unity? One company goes for external affairs, one party for internal affairs. What? This country needs dominance on both. Every country needs external and internal prowess. Red and blue, CIA and crack cocaine. Maybe it doesn't add up to you guys because 2 and 2 creates a lot of fucking rabbits. Instead of one at a time, step by step tortoises. The tortoise and the hare. We take one step at a time, knowing that if you fall down, you're gonna fall down more steps than I. And if I fall down, I won't fall as many as you. You may catch back up and pass me, but because of the rate that you fall, I will always be surpassing you. You still want to do 2 and 2? You still want to assume and rush into things and ideas? You never want to blame the medications that you put your children on? You still want to question that suicide of your alcoholic child and how they got there? Open up your life to the gangs that you truly involved yourself with, to the handshaking deals that allowed you to succeed in your career, that door that you opened for your child, the ADD medication, the amphetamines that you warned us about because Hitler took them back in the fucking day, all of a sudden is an acceptable form of Molly, party, have a good time, fuckfest, where we ruin the virginities of our little girls, not only by them same age group as them, but because daddy perhaps is a procreator of such a drug and does it to their own children. This is a sick fucking world that we live in, and we still ask ourselves, why? But why? Where did I go wrong in my life? What have I done wrong? What did I do to deserve this? The small things is what you did to deserve it. The small things is what you have done to deserve every motherfucking thing you've ever gotten in your life. I believe in God, and I believe in faith, and Christian, this and this and this, but karma! You're believing the wrong religion then, good sir. How about you become multi-religious if you want to be that kind of thing? Don't tell me you believe in God, and good and bad, and sin and evil, and cheating, and this, but karma will always win. Karma ain't in your religion. So don't accept karma in your religion if that's not your thing. That's why I'm not religious. I'll accept everything and make it normal for me. You give me the 2 and 2, and I'm going to break it down to a 1 and 1, because to me, and life needs to make sense. 1 plus 1 always got to equal 2, plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. I don't want to skip a goddamn step. I want to see it. Remember that movie Click? Fast forward, don't want to see it. 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. Now our lives go on autopilot, fast forward. Your nights, your sleep goes by, 6 hours, 8 hours go past. Work sometimes slows down, but those random moments that speed up. Fast forward, skip to my luma, darling. The difference between making love and having sex, I'm going to get into all that stuff on other videos, and if I can relate to them here. We put words and definitions and terminologies of what we want things to be, but we talk a talk, we never walk a walk. We never truly treat others the way we want to be treated. Otherwise, I'm treating you right now exactly how everybody in the world has treated me, with true and subtle disrespect and fuck you behind your backs. I can't wait to get you with the power of the pen, because you're just not suited for our business. You are outspoken and not meant to, and you're not... Listen, one of the groups I joined down here made sure to make a point and tell me that I am personally not made for public consumption. That's a subtle attack on me. But I joined your group, and your group introduced itself to me as a segregation of another group, because the other group does things in their eyes wrong. What is this group doing now? The same fucking thing. Hypocrisy works like that. They gotta win you over with their lovely words of flame, only to burn you later on. Most of us are led by beautiful and pretty words. Words are just that, pretty little things. I gotta hear them. I want to hear them. Oh, he knows how to beat the hell out of me, but he also knows how to say I love you just the right way. Keep falling for it. Not only are you ruined, your children from there on are ruined. Your grandchildren from there on are ruined. You ruin things from there. That's the first step. You can accept your shitty life, but you're going to judge another shitty life because they didn't dress a certain way. They look like a certain thing to you. One thing I learned in this life, from the segregation of the goths to the preppies to the every other group that was out there, y'all had one united thing in common. One thing in common. Y'all took the same drugs. Y'all took the same drugs. The difference was one group, if you will, one group, their family can only wash so much money. So they became the Aeropostale and the Abercrombie and Fitch crowd. The other group comes from the same money, maybe a little more. So they wore the weirder clothes because Spencer's sold $80 fucking pair of socks, for Christ's sake. Goth clothes just happen to be expensive. Money wash. Money wash. I have the money to wash. Also learned, thanks to a felonious friend of mine, that the medication he was on, he only needed a few pills from there, and the rest of the pills made him very popular in school, and he sold them to his kids. So he was your cliche, but in this case, white boy who wore the Jordans all the time and the nice clothes and the golden chains. Yeah, like I said, it took me a while to grow up and understand this stuff, but I also realized that that student, that fellow student of mine, that had a one-day severe flu was just the kid getting over a cocaine over fucking dose the night before, or an amphetamine-induced weekend that weekend prior. My school was also the graduating, my class was the graduating class that supposedly ruined the future of senior trips and so on and so forth. You guys don't understand the big fucking names that was attached to my graduating class. And someday, maybe next week, I'll start getting into these things. When you don't make these connections in your life and you keep asking yourself why, and you keep lying about it to yourself and you cover it up for yourself, that lie turns into one story to one child and a whole different story to your second and third and fourth child, and now you got children bickering amongst each other in your own house because I could have sworn mommy told me her college days and daddy told me his days, and but they told me this day and this day and this day, but I heard this story and I heard this story. Well, which one is real then? I come from, here's an idea, here's an interesting perspective. One of my parents can tell you a story, can get themselves under the influence, and tell you the same story, very, very close in detail, maybe a few things change. Okay. The other one will tell you this story, then tell you a whole different one, and a whole different one, and another one, and another one, Each one of them is the answer for that one question that you ask them. That doesn't add up to me. I can't make sense to all those roads you tried to lead me to. I decided to go with the road that made more sense because it was very closely added together to make sense. This is where we come from. This is what makes us who we are. This is how we end up perceiving all the things around us, from the churches and social gatherings that we go to how we present ourselves to at Uncle Harry's house versus Auntie Jeanette's house, whatever it might be. We act differently everywhere. I used to say that you all, not me, you all were the best actors in the world, and all of you deserve a place in Hollywood, and go get yourselves fucked. At the end of the day, I realized, just like I said from the beginning of this video, I was the best actor after all. The snake who snuck through your garden, who's grown out his mane and is now ready to roar like the Leo lion that he is. Those are just creative metaphors. But if not for these metaphors, we wouldn't understand the personalities within us. I call myself, I say to you, I'm Jinn. Jinn, the genie, the so on and so on. That name was given to me by, at the time, a 4-year-old girl that knew nothing of my background culturally or other. I was her Jinn. Today, I'm her daddy Jinn, and just a few days ago, we dropped the Jinn and became daddy. Because I'm the asshole that opens the truth to this little girl, I gained the respect of the title daddy to her. Not because I sugar-coated any fucking thing and made her act a certain fucking way, made her dress a certain fucking way. I told her the truth of the piece of shit she could be, the annoyance that she is, how annoying it is to train her and teach her the letters and sounds and numbers and addition and subtraction. And what did I get out of it? Daddy! Daddy! That's my reward for the supposed asshole that I was. I don't have a blood child, but I am a daddy. I earned it. In a sense. What is blood but that which I spit because you asked me to bite my tongue? I don't bite my tongue. I won't hold in my gut stomach anymore. I moved down here 2.5 years ago, and I've always had a funny feeling inside my stomach ever since. And I realized to myself, I've always had these funny feelings in my stomach since I was a kid back in New Jersey. But in New Jersey, it was the silent life. You shut your mouth. You don't talk about it. I don't care what you see. You don't say anything. Down here, those who have said too much and have gotten caught live here. They can't go back, some of them. Others just can't wait for their probation or parole to go away. Reality is funny when you put yourself in a different perspective of where you are and where you live and all that other stuff. I was stationed in South Carolina, so I know about 2 years of Southern culture from there. I met a couple of Jamaicans and other members of the such that opened up more cultures to me, and I never understood what color was. When I grew up in Clifton, Clifton was a neighborhood in which I had a Scottish kid across the street, I had a Colombian family next door, I had an Islamic family across the street, I had a couple of Asians around the corner. As far as I remember, I grew up in a mixed sense where we were all united within our neighborhood. What happened? What happened? Now there's pride in color and gay and this and that, and fuck your pride. I don't need pride in anything. But be pride in being a human being, perhaps. Laugh about it. Have pride in being a human that also has to survive, that also has to eat, that's united in sadness, that's united in a feeling, your sixth sense. Be proud in the fact that you can look at another human being, whether you know them or not, and recognize the look of fucking sadness in their face. But something inside you doesn't go up to the stranger and approach them and say, something bothering you today, because it ain't your nature anymore, and who the fuck are you? Loopholes and technicalities. Let me get something straight here, because this is something I thought of when coronavirus. By the way, congratulations for those of you who survived. I was originally going to come out here with a face mask on, but then I realized you might want to see my face before I die, because a lot of you missed out on grandma and grandpa before they went away during this unfortunate epidemic. And do you remember what their faces were? Those of you who have lost important ones? Or do you only remember the face that was covered by a mask? Because the medical system and every other fucking CDC cock motherfucker wants to make you look like This is a joke. It's just a joke, I suppose. But when China has been wearing face masks for all this time, and all of a sudden now we have a wear face mask rule, okay, that doesn't mean much. Let's go back even further than that. We sent our soldiers to war against Islamic terrorist motherfuckers that all did what? They grew their fucking beards. Look at all your neighbors, look at all your friends. They lost their tops. I still have mine, thankfully, but they've all grown out this motherfucking Islamic representation. Congratulations, you are becoming one with your enemies. When it comes to perspective, when it comes to how we see things, when it comes to how my brain processes the 1+1 of your stupid nature, I see human being Americans integrating with the Islams they potentially shook hands with overseas, because I was supposedly also on the boat that found and took on Osama bin Laden. I believe any of this shit? No. And I served this country, and I've been there, and I've done that. I was attacked by the hierarchy in my own fucking military, in my own way. I'm going to open up about these stories later on. I've been attacked since New Jersey, from the security businesses that I've been in, to the warehouses that I've worked for, to the wheelchair transportation business that I've worked for. This business, I've also done a little overtime and transported cocaine, bitch, from New York City to New Jersey under the guise of an ambulance, because we ain't gonna get pulled over. Used to drop it off at a safe house so that this motherfucker can do it, and you can hear him every morning when I check in. Good morning, guys, good morning. This is my boss, the owner of a business that you well respect in the emergency medical field. Really. I was also a volunteer for an organization where they openly fucking played with the little boys and girls to make sure they got their EMT certifications. Did I get mine? No, I was shunned and kicked out of school. But those are just conspiracies, just images in my head, the way I decided to do my 1+1. It doesn't make sense to the people that have done it to me, but it sure as hell makes sense to me. I've lived a conspiracy-like lifestyle, in a sense, from where the civilian world to the military world to back to the civilian world have eventually fucked me over one way or another. But I kept my mouth shut and kept doing what I had to do, except this important piece. I've done everything that I have ever needed to do, except bend over, suck one, shake the wrong hand, so on and so forth. I'm not going to calm down, Daddy. This is part of the who I am. This is the experiences of the life that I have lived, my perspective of everything that I have seen and explored. We live in the secrecy of the shadow, and we keep asking ourselves, I don't understand, and telling ourselves, I don't see why, I can't see why, and I don't see why. At the end of the day, the why is always in your face, but because it's taboo, we choose to just ignore it and refuse it. Anyway, I thank you all for coming in for this hour-and-a-half little session. I'm going to introduce now just a Q&A session, so if you want to type something in, I know there's only a few of you watching, so I'll stick around for a few minutes. The idea of this show is only supposed to go for about an hour, 8 to 9 o'clock, and I will be back next Friday to do the same thing, and hopefully I'll have a more YouTube-like aspect to it, more professional, make it look better. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we've lived our lives the way we wanted to live them because we were told it's the only way to live it. Whatever reason you have, you did it. At the end of the day, to each their own. It's a saying I've been saying since I was young. Tito, I shortened it, Tito, T-E-T-O, or Teto for those with an accent. To each their own. Okay. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it, guys. Yeah, I know I get excited, but this is me. This is the silent guy is done. The quiet guy is done. And it didn't take a little girl or a woman to change my life. It took getting fucked in the ass over and over again to finally take a stand. So here I am. If you guys have any questions about the Laughing Lamp, any of the posts that I have put up in the past, or anything about myself that you'd like for me to get into specifics about, feel free to ask where I've been, what I've done, anything. The real snake, because I'm curious, also show the memorabilia. The real snake. What, you mean myself? I am the snake. 1989, you're the snake. I have 9 or 8 snakes downstairs, but I'm not going to take the camera down as of right now. And no, I will not show you that snake. That's not for your consumption. Let me see what some of the memorabilia is I can find here. Here's a couple of citations. and it's probably backwards, but this is the best that I can do. Letter of commendation and a citation for my good service. Out of 5,000, also here's an interesting story. Out of 5,000 sailors on my deployment boat, technically that's the number they give us. Out of 5,000, I made Sailor of the Day out of a 280-day deployment. So there was at least 280 Sailors of the Day, and I was one of them. So definitely a proud moment for me. Oh, hi baby. Hi, Spider. Hi. Hi. You want to say hi to the camera? You want to say hi to the camera? Hi. Yeah, I know you don't like that. Okay, you can bite me all you want, dickhead. Just one of many. I have a lot. He's one of many assholes. He's actually very warm, so he's got a lot of energy in him. So he's just a little feisty. This is Spider, by the way. I didn't name him. If you're still watching here, by the way, this was a former a former coworker of mine gave me the snake for free. So just you could let him know if you're watching. Yeah, he's still alive. I've taken care of him. He's called Spider because the little girl Saphira named him Spider. He's not a spider though, is he? Perspective. Why did he get that fucking name? The kid named it. Kid named me Jin. The kid named the snake Spider. I still take a while to get used to these guys. I got way too many. And he's very docile. He doesn't really do much. Today was a little bit more energetic than usual. Hey, he's saying hi. Hi guys. Hi. All right. I'll give it a few more minutes. If there's no questions, ladies and gentlemen, I guess I'll keep going. I did read about the show, the memorabilia. Memorabilia, here. Take the snake. That's right. I'm still on the memorabilia. Ready? These are some old photos. This is pre-military, by the way. These are some of the memorabilia that was sent to me in boot camp. We were at Bradley Beach. That's Carolyn, me, and a Black and Mild. I didn't smoke weed then. And Booby. Booby. Yes. I think we went to a concert. That's where we were, yeah. Kate, you were there. I think you took this photo. Bradley Beach days. What's in that bag is a hookah, ladies and gentlemen, and we learned a very valuable lesson that day. They don't taste good with salt water. Yeah, bad idea. Yeah, most of these are old photos. When I said memorabilia, I didn't unfortunately get myself organized properly, and the scene behind me actually fell apart. It was bigger. When you were a kid, you give your brother his name. There's an interesting perspective of a story when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I'm told, and I remember it, I swear to God, like the back of my head. I'm in the kitchen, and my father asks me, "Hey, kiddo," well, let me word it properly based off of my memory. "Hey, we fucked up with you. Give me a name for your brother." I said, "I don't know, Richie." Months later, my brother's born Richard. Years later, I'm told this story of King Richard the Lionheart, and now I'm doing 1 + 1 trying to figure out shit. Funny enough, too, actually, I did come up with something with that. I did some number play, and I'll express that a little bit later on. I did some number play, and I came up with a number 4.25. And I noticed something in the time gap of my life, memory. At 4 1/4 years old, I remember that memory in the kitchen. And then, like waking up with a bright light, I fell back asleep. I wasn't ready to look at the world. And I woke up again on my 5th birthday party, and I was turning 5 years old. And since then, my mind has not shut down. I have, since I was 5 years old, I call myself awakened to the act of life. And I have been ashamed by it ever since. And for such a young kid to have a perspective on the act of his family and the act of the families that they meet and the act of the kids in his class and the acting of this church, y'all are one big Hollywood amphetamine pit. And I came up with this saying for you leapfroggers out there. Hello, my amphibians. Welcome to the amphitheater where we provide you with amphetamines. So you still want that AAA service? Or are you going to start thinking about what you give your fucking kids, what the truth is behind these meds, and what a real gateway drug looks like? Because I have been there and I have done things, and there are certain things I don't mind and other things I can't believe you're even allowed to access. To each their own. To each their own. Oh, this is my first girlfriend, Kelly. I don't think she watched. Speaking of Kelly, actually, here's one of her letters that I got in boot camp. Yeah, I mean, I kept all this stuff. I'm sorry I'm not organized. I apologize for not being so organized today. I actually didn't expect to be rambling for this long of a session, but I didn't keep track of the time either. Via my bachelor's degree, I did that already. Something I don't mind, because of course I'm from New Jersey. Yeah. I must have seen this like 80 times. But it's funny when you put a movie like that into perspective, and then if you were to follow Steven Van Zandt's career into Netflix has a series called Lilyhammer. I came up with this theory that they shut down Lilyhammer after 3 seasons because Van Zandt comedically released too much information about mob life, and he shut that down. That's one of many perspectives I do plan on covering in the next coming week. Probably next Friday's video will be something like that, because like I said, I'm going to share my life and my life's perspectives of what I saw. Do we have any other questions before I decide to hit that finish button and send y'all about the rest of your day? I don't think my voice is that attractive to keep listening to, and I don't think I have a good enough face to look at anymore. But that's just me joking. I'll give you guys another second or two to type any kind of silliness in here. Otherwise, enjoy your nights, take care of yourselves, and stay safe, not dangerous. Stop confusing yourselves. This kid, by the way, I forgot to say, he's got a scar across his face, okay? And after opening him up, talking with him, I asked him, how the hell did you get all that stuff? The kid told me that it was a dog mauling at first. A dog mauling. And I said, young man, I could see the lie in your face, and I don't like liars in my house. He says, okay. It was a bucket, a pail bucket, a sand bucket from the beach. And he got his ass whooped. That's the trailer park I live in. This is the life that's truly around us. Stay dangerous. Stay safe. Yes, it's great to see all of you again. Thank you very much. The only thing I would ask of you guys is to send a message if this means anything to anybody. I mean, this is just the beginning. I don't expect much now. I expect a better presentation next Friday of myself, and obviously with a more YouTube-esque presentation, hopefully more people to click on the video and watch. What I want out of this is just send people on over. Let them watch this for a minute or two. Let them think about it for a second. And it's the people that I want, not you. I mean, I appreciate you, of course, but you bring the rest of the people there. And I need more people. The current business that I'm in that pays the bills here, it ain't going to last very long. I don't have the personality to maintain corporate gigs or anything like that. I have too much of a big mouth. And I don't need you to look at me with any kind of contempt or weakness. Just send people on over, and eventually the ideology is let YouTube do the paying for me. If you guys would like to donate or something, I already have the YouTube channel has a PayPal on there, and I will link the PayPal onto the group page. And if you feel the need to donate $1 or a cent or whatever the hell you got, feel free. It's always appreciated, and it keeps the lights on here. It keeps the amps on at the lamp. You get it? Be an amp at the lamp, not a watt in a bulb, and your contributions can keep this lamp on and going. I thank you very much for joining me, Jin, at the Laughing Lamp. I will be your innermost fear for as long as I can be, and I call myself that because I am not afraid to speak of the taboo thoughts that we all have and confirm what I claim to be the truth of the reality of this world. Things need to change, and I know I can't do it alone, and I'm not going to ask you to give up and follow me around. So this is my way of asking you to keep doing what you need to do, and if you can, send some fools my way. Thanks, everybody, and have a great night. Take care of yourselves. It was always a pleasure. Bye-bye.